everyone, I am Jelena Manzano Alabanza, BIT4A, major in Food and Service Management. For today, we will talk about Philippine National Building Code. This module covers the knowledge, skills, and attitudes required to discuss the Philippine National Building Code, its provisions, the general building requirement, site requirements, and all the basics in putting up an infrastructure. So, first, what is Philippines National Building Code? The Philippines National Building Code, or the Republic Act 6541, is an act to ordain the Institute of National Building Code of the Philippines. It does not conform the developmental goals and infrastructure program of the government, and it does not adequately provide for all the technological requirements of building structures in terms of up-to-date design and construction standards and criteria. So the aims to ensure that developers conform to the implementation of modern technical knowledge on construction, building design, occupancy, maintenance, and use. So next is the general provisions. In general provisions and the building requirements and site requirements are as follow. First is the general building requirements. 1. All buildings or structures as well as accessory facilities territory shall conform in all respect to the principles of safe construction and must be suited to the purpose of which they are designed. 2. Buildings or structures intended to be used for the manufacture and or production of any kind of article or product shall observe adequate environmental safeguards. The third one is the building or structures and all parts thereof as well as the facilities found therein shall be maintained and safe, sanitary and good working condition. So the main purpose of building codes is to provide, maintain standards to protect the public health, safety, and general welfare as they relate to the construction and occupancy of buildings and structures. Model building codes provide protection from tragedy caused by fire, structural collapse, and general deterioration. The second one is site requirements. First, the land of or site upon which be constructed and building or structures of any ancillary or auxiliary facility thereto shall be sanitary, hygienic, or safe. The second one is sites or buildings intended by human habitation or abode. The same shall be at a safe distance as determined by competent authorities from streams or body of water and or sources of air considered to be polluted from volcano or volcanic site and or any other building considered to be potential source or of fire or explosion. So, in planning, a site typically begins by assessing a potential site for development through a thorough site analysis. Information about slopes, soils, hydrology, vegetation, parcel ownership, orientation, and etc. are assessed and documented. So, going through a thorough analysis of feasibility of developing a site allows the architect to determine optimal location and designs for a structure that works within the space. While conducting the site analysis, the architect also needs to review zoning of the potential project site. So these are the regulations that have been developed by the local municipality to separate the land into different use areas such as residential and industrial zones. This allows the town or city to not be overpowered by one type of land distinction. So the next is types of construction. There are five types of constructions. This will help to help the learners understand what type of construction of building they see in public. It will also help them identify materials to be used in making such infrastructures. Type 1, um, shall be made of pure wood construction. Type 2 shall be wood construction with protective fire resistant material and 1 hour fire resistive throughout except that permanent non-bearing partitions may use fire standard treated wood. Type 3 shall be um, of masonry and wood construction. Structural elements may be any of the materials permitted. Exterior shall walls shall be of incombustible fire resistive construction. The type 4 construction is shall be an steel, iron, concrete, or masonry construction, and walls, ceiling, and permanent partitions shall be of incombustible fire resistive construction. The last type of construction is type 5 shall be for our fire resistive throughout, and the structural elements shall be of steel, iron, concrete, masonry construction. So the fire resistive requirements in construction. Knowing the fire resistance of different types of building construction will help managers determine what type of building is good for their business. This help by lessening the risk of lose to be business and prevent it as well. So there are different materials used to construct a building. It have a fire resistive ratings. That is the degree to which a material can withstand fire as determined by the general recognized and accepted testing methods. It is also important to understand the fire resistive time period rating. So this is to prevent another loss to business, since it measures the length of time a material can withstand being burned with, which may be 1 hour, 2 hours, or 4 hours, etc. Next is the fire resistive standards. All materials of constructions and type of materials are assembled or combination thereof shall conform the fire resistive ratings. First is the floor construction, solid RS slab, solid pre-stressed or concrete slab. The third one is the partitions. Um, Fourth, protection for metal structural members. Five, exterior wall. And six is column. The fire resistive standards is important to improve the safety of occupants, firefighters, and neighbors during fire events, and minimize damage, so buildings can return to use quickly, boosting community resilience. All existing opening on all wire walls shall be sealed completely to maintain the fire integrity of adjoining buildings or structures. So thus there are exemptions, and depending on the usage of building, especially if it is used for ventilation. Below are samples of substandard buildings that have not followed minimum requirements on firewalls. This is the um, maximum building height. The maximum height and number of stories of proposed building shall be dependent upon the character of use or occupancy and the type of construction, considering the following factors. The first is end user population density, light and ventilation, width of RROW streets, particularly of its roadway carriageway component, building block, the last is off-street off-site parking requirements. So the maximum height of number of stories of proposed building in relation to local and use plan and zoning regulations, environmental considerations, and geological, hydrological, meteorological, and Topograph topographical. Next is prevailing traffic conditions. That last one is availability and capacity of public utility service system. The next is determination of building heights. In building heights limit or BHL generally measured from established grade line to be topmost portion of the proposed building and or structures. The BHL of any proposed building or structure shall only be as allowed under the NBC rule. The last is the first sloping grade, perpendicular to RROW with a difference in elevations of less than 3 meters. The highest adjoining natural grade ground surface of finish grade or sidewalk surface shall be established grade elevations. In building height shall be measured as the vertical distance from the average final grade to be highest point of the coping of a flat roof or the decline of mansard roof or to be average height of the highest gable of pitch or hip roof. So that's all. Thank you for